Let's go ahead and take a look at another type of listener. So we've already discussed what a model listener does. Let's go ahead and see how to create one. The process is, well, very similar to what we have done already. So let's head over and click File up here at the top left, followed by New, and then Liferay Module Project. So File, New, Liferay Module Project. And for this project, we're going to be calling it user-post-update-model-listener. So user post update model listener, pretty long name right there. All right, once you have that selected, confirming the other standards, Gradle 7.1. For the project name, go ahead and click on the drop down. And we're just going to look through, and this time around, we're going to be using one of our default templates. So let's use API. That's my favorite template to use as a default. So once you have that selected, go ahead and click Next. Once you click Next, we need to fill out our component class name. In this situation, let's go ahead and we'll leave the default here. And to make life easier, let's go ahead and leave the package the same as well. So we'll leave the component and the class name alone, right? Opting to use those default values. So let's go ahead and click Finish. And then we're going to let our Liferay Developer Studio create the project for us. So it looks like the project is almost there. I'm going to do a little bit of cleaning up, just getting rid of some of the old files here, right? Collapsing some of our previous windows. And let's go ahead and we're looking for the user post update model listener. We'll go ahead and expand that out. And then once we do, just like with any other of the templates that we have used, we got to do a little bit of cleanup. So let's first head over to the source main Java. And then from the source main Java, we're going to refactor the name of this package here. So rather than user post update model listener, let's get rid of or what I should say, let's scratch that part. So let's go ahead and get rid of the API part at the end of the package name. So we'll right click the package. We'll head over to refactor and then rename. So refactor and then rename, right? Just getting rid of the API part of the package. So we can leave it as user post update model listener. Go ahead and delete the .api portion. And then from there, just go ahead and click OK. Once you have that selected, go ahead and click continue. And then we're waiting for the updates to finish there. So for me, it does take a little bit of time. If it does take a little bit of time for you as well, that's perfectly fine. So you've taken care of the package name there. Let's go ahead and do a little bit more. So let's head over to the bnd.bnd file of our user post update model listener. So heading over here to bnd.bnd, and then we're going to get rid of the export package right here. Since we just renamed the package, technically there is no package being exported. So we'll go ahead and highlight the exported package and then click on the red X that goes with it. Once you do, go ahead and save your bnd.bnd file. And this time around, I'll click on the floppy disk up here at the top left. If you want to, feel free to head over to the source to change the name of the information about our bundle, the name, the symbolic name, and so on. All right, so now that we're here, we're going to do a little bit more cleanup. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to expand out the package that we just refactored not too long ago. So expanding out that user post update model listener package, and then we're going to delete the class with the same name. I guess this is an interface, so we'll go ahead and delete the interface. Okay, So deleting the interface. So we have pretty much a clean bundle, a clean Liferay module project. Next up, let's go ahead and right click the package. We're going to head over to new, and then we're going to head over to other this time around, doing something a little bit different. So let's head over to other. And then in the wizard, we're going to be typing component. We're going to be using that Liferay component class wizard to create our model listener. So let's go ahead, Liferay component class. We'll go ahead and click next. And then just waiting for it to load up. So let's go ahead and start off by giving our component a name. So the name I'm going to give it is user post, capital P there. So user post update model listener. I suppose you can keep the default, but it doesn't hurt to practice a little bit of typing there. We can leave the package the same as well. We're going to be going into the default package here, user post update model listener. Next up is the component class template. We're going to click on the drop down, and we'll see here we have model listener. Over time, right, you'll get a good sense of what kind of things you're able to create here within that component wizard. So you'll see a couple here, and the one that we're selecting is model listener. So we'll click model listener, and then model class. This is what are we listening to? Again, model listeners do exactly as they say. They're going to be listening to specific model entities or database objects. So we're going to click on this browse button over here on the right hand side. Again, I like to use the wildcard followed by a period to begin my search. And we're searching for users, or just the user in this situation. Once you have user selected, go ahead and click OK. So we have our user model right there. Go ahead and confirm everything that you have is the same as what I have. And once you're ready to go ahead and click finish. So clicking finish, again, we're going to play a little bit of a waiting game as Liferay Developer Studio goes ahead and creates that component for us. I saw it pop up over here on the left-hand side, and it has brought us to the specific component. So very good. So recall from our lecture how there's a number of different specific events that we can listen for. So before an entity is created or after it's created, we can do something. If it's associated with something or if it's updated, there might be a couple more that I'm leaving out. So make sure to do a little refresher and review that section just in case. In this situation, what we're going to do is we're going to be listening for the user model or the user entity, and we're going to be listening for a change to happen or an update to the user entity. In this example, this is very similar to like the security example. Again, one of the common things that you might see in the real world is, when you change payment options or if you enable Touch ID as a way of authenticating, you'll typically get an email saying, hey, your settings have been changed, right? Just letting you know. And so we're going to try to do something very similar. So we're going to keep it a little bit more generic. And whenever any setting is changed within a user, we're going to let that user know. Now in real life, that's probably going to be a little bit too much, but just getting a feel, getting an example of how a model listener can work. So with all of that, let's go ahead, jump back over here, and we're going to change up the method. So instead of using on before create, right, we're going to use on after update. So let's get rid of some of the text here. So on after update is going to be the method we're using. Okay. If we ever want to do something with the user entity, we have that object called model to help us out. Now we're going to be sending an email. So we saw from the previous exercise that we're going to need the mail service to help us out. So what I'm going to do here is we're going to go ahead and get a reference of an OSGI service that implements the mail service API. So just going through that train of thought again, protected, the API is mail service underscore mail service will be our reference object here, asking the OSGI container for a reference of an OSGI service that implements mail service. Got a couple errors here, just got to do Control-Shift-O to bring in our proper imports. I'll go ahead and save along the way using Control-S. Right. Keyboard shortcuts are very handy, so feel free to use them often. All right, so what we want to do is whenever something is updated, we want to send out an email. So let's first go through and try to create that email. Okay, so we'll start off with our mail message object to create our email message. Okay, this is just going to be a new message, nothing too exciting here. And then Control-Shift-O to bring in that mail message class. Next up, we need to set the subject and the body of the email message. So message.set, this is the subject. Okay, and then we can do something like security alert account settings. Right. We mean serious business when we throw an exclamation mark there. So we have the subject, and then we also need to set the body. So set body. We don't have a body object here, so we'll just set this as a string. Something simple like Liferay has detected that your account settings has changed, have been changed. That works too. Again, feel free to have fun with it. These are just strings. It can be whatever you want it to be. So we have the subject and the contents of the email ready to go. And just like our previous exercise, we also need the sender's and the recipient's email address. So let's first go ahead and set the recipient's address. So internet address to address. And this is going to be new internet address. And again, we can access the user by using that model object within the onAfterUpdate method, getting that parameter model to get email address. We still have that error there. This is going to be a dependency that we'll need to grab. In the meantime, let's go ahead and get the from address as well. It's going to be a new address from our internet address blueprint. And this one, we can hard code it to do not reply at liferay.com. Okay, and then same story. We need to send this email message. So we'll call the mail service, right, to send the message or to send the email. And then we want the message object and then save. Right, we know what the dependency is, so we'll come back to that soon. I need to fix this. Well, not fix, but we should finish it, right? So we'll add a catch statement here. Right. I'll create this object, this log object soon. Okay, and then we'll head down here. Okay, and then private static final log is equal to, let's create this log using a factory, right? And then we're going to get our log for this specific class, user post update model listener dot class. And let me make sure I did this correctly. I need my equal sign after log right here. Okay, and then Control-Shift-O to bring in the log factory. Okay. Silly mistake here. I need my exception for the address, the email address. And we'll call it E, and then Control-Shift-O one more time. It looks like this address exception is going to be coming from the dependency that we're about to add. So let's go ahead and head over to our build.gradle and add the dependency. So make sure you're in the proper build.gradle, right? It's very easy to get lost in one that you don't intend to be, or don't intend to be in. All right, so starting off with the dependency that we need first, right? This is our JavaX mail, and then the actual name here is going to be, well, just simply mail. And then we need that version number as well. The version number is 1.4. All right. Always remember the golden rule here in Backend Developer, right, is whenever we modify something in build.gradle, we always want to perform a Gradle refresh. So once that's done, we'll head back over to our Gradle project, I should say our Liferay module project, and then we'll use our Control-Shift-O one more time to bring in our necessary dependencies. All right, coming back over here, I failed to realize we did not set the address, the to and from. So let me add that here. So I have those warnings there letting me know that I forgot to set the to address and the from address. Right, so autocomplete here is one of our best friends, using Control spacebar to get that. All right, so now the email will actually be sent somewhere. So set the subject and the body. We created the email addresses, right? Set the to address and from address to the email itself, and then we're using our mail service to send it out. All right, so very good. Now that that's been taken care of, we need to head back to our build.gradle just one more time to fix one more dependency, right? So we want to fix that kernel, the portal kernel. And again, this is one of the consequences of doing this so early, since this is still technically the beta version of Liferay Developer Studio. There are some hurdles that we need to go over. And so we're going to change this up here, right? And we want to specify our dependency on the kernel that's within our Liferay instance. So this is 2 levels up over in the bundles folder, Tomcat 9.0.6 lib ext, and then portal kernel.jar. All right. So again, in the real world, once there is a solid release, when you're probably actually doing this, you do not have to add this line here. By then, we should have the proper Gradle dependency already specified, but it does give us a good frame of reference, letting us know that, yeah, you can specify specific jar files that you are dependent on. So very cool. Again, golden rule. I wish I had a cool rhyme for refresh your build.gradle or perform a Gradle refresh every time you modify your build.gradle. One of these days, I'll probably come up with a rhyme, but that day is unfortunately not today. All right, let's go ahead and deploy and test this out. So I'll deploy, this is the user post update model listener. So I'll go ahead and deploy. All right, from here, I'm going to head over and make some modifications to my user's account settings. So user section here in the middle, my account, followed by account settings. All right, now that we're here, let's make an easy change down here in the comments. Triggering model listener. All right, nothing too special. You can change anything you want here. And then we'll scroll down and then click save. Once we do, I'll take a look here at the my fake SMTP server. It's a little bit smushed here, but you can see we're getting those emails here for account setting. So very good. So again, a very simple example of how we can utilize a model listener to execute some sort of code as a specific event that's occurring to the model is happening. We can have our model listener listen or invoked either before or after the event has taken place. So again, very simple example of a model listener.